The Chilean banking sector has played a key role in shoring up economic development in the country, but is there room for growth? Joining me now, Daniel Subelman and Marco Comparini of Banco Penta. Now, Daniel, your bank was one of the first to focus on investments, not just acting as a financial middleman. Can you tell me why that decision was so important to your company's success?
Most banks in Chile, after an intense period of M&A activity, became major corporations, highly efficient, serving all type of clients across all products nationwide. But that scale came at a cost. They had to develop policies and processes to make them more standardized and rigid. Inevitably, that made them more slow and more bureaucratic. 2004, Banco Penta was founded as a bank focused exclusively on high net worth individuals, corporate clients, and financial institutions, serving only brokerage, asset management, corporate finance, sales and trading, and financing. What are the numbers of that? Well, the last 3 years, revenues have grown at a CAGR of 25%, that even surprised even us, and a third of those revenues are fees, which for a bank is pretty unique. Most international banks will envy that. Profits have doubled every single year since then. Our credit rating has increased 2 notches. We have issued 4 series of bonds and an impressive low spread. Finally, but not last, we are here. That is another good sign. We received an award of Best Investment Bank Chile 2014, as well as last year we received an award for the best M&A deal of the year in Chile also.
Very interesting. Now, Marco, the FUT financial mechanism that allows companies to defer their taxes has been removed. Can you tell me, how has that decision affected a company's ability or corporates to really do their business?
Well, first of all, the Chilean tax reform is already being discussed in the Congress. As far as we know, the FUT won't be eliminated but modified. And cannot be eliminated because it has been a very important financing source for Chilean companies. From a corporate side, the big change is in the corporate tax rate, because it will increase from 20 to 27%, which is a big bunch. Of course, will have an impact, it's obvious. Nevertheless, this information is already in the market for at least 2-3 months. So I would say that it's already in place, it's priced in. And at the same time, I would say that the Chilean companies are in a very healthy situation. Therefore, they can cope with an increase in corporate tax rate.
So we just heard about some of the opportunities that the banking sector offers, but of course we've had some more financial players, Marco, enter into the market, including Banco Santander. Can you tell me, the proliferation of competition, has that been good or bad for people like yourself?
The competitiveness of the market has been pretty good for everybody, for the country. If you want to be a developed market, you have to have a developed financial system, and this is something that we believe that we have. A sign of that is the banking penetration in Chile, which is 80%, which is quite high if you compare it with some neighbors like Peru and Colombia. They are in the 20 plus something. Therefore, you can say there's it's a deep financial market and very competitive. Nevertheless, when you analyze all the banks, you realize that you have to have a different strategy if you want to start with a new bank in Chile. So that's the reason why in 2004, when we set up Banco Penta, we decided to do something unique. And we have had pretty good returns out of that. We're very happy with the strategy, and we're very proud of being the first investment bank in Chile.
Now, we just heard about how competition helps the marketplace. Can you tell me, Daniel, about how the higher than expected inflation rate has impacted, your ability and others' ability to operate in the current financial market that exists in Chile?
Even though that's completely true in most countries, in Chile we're moving in the opposite direction. We're coming from a relatively high inflation context, but we're moving in the other way. Inflation is going down, the economy is cooling down. However, in any case, in Chile we have the UF. The UF is an index that is pegged to the CPI. Every single month it readjusts from previous month's CPI. And most fixed income securities in Chile are traded in real rates indexed to pegged to this index, which is the UF, similar to the TIPS in the US. So banks, when they build budgets, they can hedge the inflation risk, having in the balance sheet, in the assets, UF. That's Chilean reality today, and that's why we are pretty unique also as a country because it's not very common in other countries to have these deep inflation real rates that can help you cover and hedge that risk.
Now, Marco, we just heard about how the financial community is kind of on the up and up, but of course there's always room to grow. How can the government improve the financial regulatory environment that you operate in to make it even easier?
Always there is room for improvements from regulatory perspective. Nevertheless, according to what we have seen in the last 5 years in the international financial system, where we have seen US and European banks in very difficult situations, during the same period of time, we haven't seen any single problem in any bank. That reinforces the authority, the way they are controlling the market. So I don't see them doing any significant change. And I agree with them. The Chilean banking system is quite healthy. And even though there was a big international crisis, we really cope with it.
Fascinating. Now, Daniel, of course, the Chilean economy has had some sluggish times of late. Can you tell me, does that make you worried at all about the future of the financial sector?
We saw at the second semester of last year, investment stop and decrease a lot. And I would say the second quarter of this year, you start to see consumers reducing consumption. One clear sign of that, it's in May this year, the outstanding stock of commercial loans was reduced for the first month since February 2010, so more than 4 years. So yes, that's a warning. However, there's some good things happening also. We have a huge lack in infrastructure and energy investment. And I can see political consensus to approve some of those projects. And the pipeline is big because of the lag I mentioned. And you will see investment there in the mid-short-term future. In addition to that, slow economy in Chile and lower commodities prices in the markets had made a weaker peso. We are having a very open economy. So we have exporters who have been suffering and a lot of pressure to make profits in a very strong currency. All exporters who sell in the international markets. That part of the economy will benefit from a weaker peso. So the ones that survived a long period of strong Chilean peso became very strong and very efficient. So now the margins will improve and those sectors will benefit from that.
Very interesting. Daniel, Marco, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.